Okay, so this one is gonna be very quick because I don't have a lot of time and I have to study a bit. Today we're gonna talk about callbacks and functions. We're gonna first start with functions. So functions are basically commands in Pawn that are used to, create objects, create pickups, give players weapons, to do a lot of stuff. So we're gonna do those first. We're gonna open our server. Wait, let me check. Okay, this is a different server. Okay, this is the one we needed. So in Powner you have a lot of functions that you can use. You cannot create your own. You can, but we're gonna talk about it in a different video, probably the next one. But there are functions that are assigned a name and a perimeter. Parameter, sorry. Parameters. The name of the function will just help you know what type of function it is and what it does. The parameters are used to indicate how the function should work, what types of variables should it affect, and stuff like that. So we're gonna first actually do a little bit of research on functions. So we're gonna go to a famous Pawn scripting website called blast.hk, I think. Yeah, blast hack. We're gonna use this for SAMP, I think. No, this is the wrong server. SAMP scripting blast. Yes, SAMP wiki. If you go to scripting functions, you're just gonna get a little overview here. And here it says there are 438 native functions. So if we go here, you're gonna see a lot of functions. These are all things that are used in scripts to do something. So if you look at some of them, here it says add static vehicle, add static vehicle X. This means that the vehicle will respawn in a loop. Add vehicle component, attach trailer to vehicle, change vehicle color. These are all basically commands that you can use in your server to do anything. But of course, there are not a lot of scripters that know all of these 438 commands just by heart. It's impossible. For me it's impossible. So I always like to go here to check all the functions and go search for the one that I need. Now we're gonna just give the player some weapons, maybe spawn in a vehicle. We're gonna go to add static vehicle, and if we look at add static vehicle, we're gonna have parameters, so the model ID, the float, spawn X, spawn Y, spawn Z, angle, and two colors, the primary one and the secondary one. And what is good about this website is you always get an example. Not always, in most cases you will get an example of how you're gonna use it. So if you look here, so the first number here in these parentheses, this is the model ID. So we always go from left to right. We count from left to right. So the first number that you should type is the model ID. We don't type in the coordinates as first, because the Pawn script will think, okay, you want to use this as your model ID, but you can't. That's not possible, and we also don't want to use that as model ID. We want to use that as a coordinate. But to use it as a coordinate, we first have to type the model ID, and then we type the coordinate. So the order is very, very important, otherwise you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I'm gonna go here, and now we're gonna type. We're gonna go to on game mode initiate, and we're gonna type add static vehicle. Let's go to our website, see what model we can use. Here it says 520, but I don't know this model, so we're gonna go here. In every function there are variables that contain a list of many types. So we're gonna go here to model ID, and normally you should see, so if we go for instance in let's go to, I don't know, bikes. We can see all of these bikes, and you're gonna see the vehicle model ID as first. This is what you need for your static vehicle. So as our bike, I'm gonna take this one, the NRG 500. We're gonna copy that, paste it. So that's our model ID. That's the first thing we need to do to make our script work. Now we're gonna copy our coordinates. Boom. So these are our coordinates, and now we're gonna have to type an angle. This is not so important unless you really want to type in a specific angle. For now we're just gonna put 0, and if we look at our command, okay, we have to give 2 colors. Here in this command it says, in this function it says, if you want to choose a random color, you can just type in -1. So we're gonna do that, -1 and -1 again, because we have 2 colors to choose. And in every function you have to add this icon, like I said in previous videos. Never forget that, it's gonna give you an error. Now we're gonna save, compile it, and it works. Very nice. That's good. Now we're gonna start the server, and now we're gonna go to our server to see if the function is gonna work. So we have said when the game mode is initiated, it should create a vehicle. So I'm gonna basically say when the game mode is gonna start. Normally it's, so now we have connected, I think. Okay, we have connected, and now the game mode has started. And now if we spawn, and if we run our way to here, normally we should see our vehicle. Well, this is very, very interesting. Oh no, I see it on the map. It's here. Oh. I think I have to adjust the position right. So, because of that, I have a handy dandy tool that we can use. So I think in every SAMP server you can just stand in a place where you want to spawn something. You're gonna type /save in the chat, and now you're gonna get a message. It's gonna say on foot position saved. Now if we close San Andreas, and if we go to our GTA San Andreas serve user files, normally it should be in your documents folder. You're gonna go to SAMP, if you have SAMP installed, and you're gonna go to saved positions. You're gonna go down here, and yes, okay, if we compare these two positions, you're gonna see, okay, they're quite close to each other. So yes, this is the position that we have made. So we're gonna just copy this. So if we look at the add player class, this is also a function. The 0 is the skin for your player, and then after the 0 we have to type in the X, Y, and Z coordinate. We can also do the rotation, because that is also used for the add static vehicle function. So we're gonna do this. Wait, you have to delete this as well. We're gonna paste this information. So it's only this that you need. So only this if you want to paste a position. This is something you don't need. These are also just other parameters that you don't need. This is only for adding player classes. But we're also gonna learn about that later on. So I think we have pasted it. Yes, we have pasted the right parameters, the right position. Now we're gonna, yeah, I can save it, but I'm gonna compile it again, close the server, start it up again. Let's go here. Okay, here. Server, SAMP server. We're gonna start up our server. We're gonna enter, and now normally we should see our motorbike. Okay, so we still get the message, that's okay, from previous video. And you can see on the map there is an icon for a motor, and there it is. So this is what functions basically do. They do something. It's an event. They make something, they create something, they tell you something. Send client message that we have used in our previous video is also a function. And now we can use this however we want. But I want to do something else. Give the players some weapons. But I also want to do it in a specific way. So I want my player to get weapons when he spawns. Now, normally it should be pretty easy. There is a link for give player weapon on the blast.hk website. I don't know how we didn't find it, but it's not a problem. So we're gonna use this. Give player weapon. It's gonna give a weapon, of course, but we also have to use our parameters. The first parameter is the ID of the player to give a weapon to. Normally, if you have played SAMP for long enough, you should know that when you connect to a SAMP server and you press the tab button to see all of the players, on the left side, normally, you should see all of these numbers, IDs. This is basically the number that you get when you join the server. So the first person that joins the server will get an ID of 1. The second player will get an ID of 2. So, but we can't really find the ID of our player by just assuming that he has that ID. That's not so practical. You're always gonna get the wrong person. In some cases, you will maybe get the right person. But SAMP helped us with that by making a variable called player ID. Player ID is automatically gonna find out the ID of yourself, of your player. So if we go to SAMP and we load up a server, and if we press tab and we look at the leaderboard and our ID is number 45, then if we try to convert the player ID into a number, it will be 45. So that's pretty handy from the Pano app. The second variable we need is the ID, the weapon ID. Now the weapon ID, that's also something we need to research, but in blast.hk they do not give any link for the weapon ID. So we're gonna go on Google, we're gonna type in weapon ID SAMP. Okay, I don't know, the SAMP wiki is kind of busted from blast.hk because they have a link for weapons but they don't use it in other links, so we can easily access them. So if you look here, you're gonna find for instance this weapon, fist, and you're gonna look to the right and you're gonna see ID. This is the weapon ID, and for every icon, for every weapon, there is an ID. Let's say we want to give our player, let's say, a pistol and an AK-47, maybe a knife too. Okay, that's enough. So we're gonna look for the ID for the knife. It's 4. Then we go for the ID of the, let's say, the 9mm pistol. It's 22, and then we're gonna go for the AK-47. It's 30. So if you look at the give player weapon command, we're gonna make 3 functions. One is for ID 4, the second is for ID 22, and the third one is for ID 30. And at last we have to give some ammo to the player. This can be whatever you want, but don't use 0, because I think 0 will just give an error. I think maybe, I mean, it's not gonna give an error in pawn, it's gonna give an error in the game, because you're given a gun with no ammo in GTA San Andreas, and normally if your gun has no ammo, the game will just delete it, so you're not gonna get anything. So you have to type in some ammo. So we're gonna use the example here. We're gonna paste it, but where do we paste it? Because we said we wanted to paste it when we spawn. But where do you find that? Okay, we're gonna find it. We have found it here. Public on player spawn. But what is this? How does this work? What is public on player spawn? Well, if you look at all of these publics here, publics. Oh, I think. Oh, okay, it's not a problem. I thought I made some mistake, but it's okay. All of these publics are called callbacks. Callbacks. So if I could explain callbacks, I would say they're basically just a loop. Every millisecond they check if a player has done something. So if a player spawned, if a player died, if a vehicle has spawned, if a vehicle has been destroyed or died, it's always checking and checking and checking if something has happened. And when something has happened, it's gonna trigger. And in this callback, we're gonna type in something that should happen. So we're gonna use these functions to do something when the callback is triggered. So we have learned two new things, callbacks and functions. That's basically the whole theme of this video, callbacks and functions. So we're gonna use the function give player weapon. We're gonna go press tab so we can align our command with the return. We're gonna paste it. So we have the give player weapon, but this is 26. Let's see what 26 is. That's a sawed-off shotgun. We don't want that. We want a pistol, a knife, and the AK-47. So we're gonna type in. Let's first type in 4 because that's for the knife. For the knife, we're just gonna type 1 because you get one knife. You can't get two knives in GTA San Andreas. Now we're gonna paste it again. Now we're gonna do the pistol, 22, and we're gonna give let's say 20 ammo. That should be enough. And then for the AK, we're gonna do this. We're gonna type in 30, and then 60 should be enough. That's 2 mags. So you have here the weapon ID. You have the ammo, and we're gonna give it to our player, to us. So we're gonna save it, compile it, no errors, I like that. We're gonna go here, SAMP. We're gonna open our server, and normally when we spawn, it should give us a weapon. So when we spawn, that callback will be triggered, and it's gonna do something. And what it does is it's gonna do that. It's gonna start that function. Boom. You see? We have spawned in with 3 weapons, a pistol, an AK-47, and a knife. So I think this is enough. You can this will be a very good video for experimenting. Try out anything you like. You create an object, create a vehicle, give the player some weapons. Maybe you can do so much with this. Send a message to the player, do anything you want, but because this is really good for learning how to use the functions and their parameters, and also how to use callbacks. But there are some special functions, special callbacks that I will talk about, because if you just if you try to use them with all of the lessons we have learned now, it's not gonna work. You're gonna get a bunch of errors. It's not gonna be possible because there are special variables and there is a special way of using those callbacks and those functions. So don't worry. Let's say for animations you have to do something. You have to do a lot more things. It's not just callbacks and functions. It's a special function, but we're gonna learn about that in the next video. I think that should be enough for today.